like to thank Danny Boyle for the introduction. So, this is Humphrey, as you can see on the screen. Some of you may know that he was the young fellow who did that for the Olympic Games. But not all of you will know that he is also the boy who on the first 2 weeks of secondary school managed to lose 2 jumpers, a jacket and a recording. When he was born, we had no notice or idea that he was born without a hand. 11 years ago, both my wife and I, we had no experience or understanding of this happening. There wasn't the amazing coverage and exposure that we experienced this summer, for example, with Paralympians. And it was a shock. I remember most strongly getting upset because Humphrey was made to wear scratch mitts. It was really frustrating because, you know, as a dad, you've only got one hand. You've got a mitt on it, you can't do things. So, one good thing came out is immediately we were introduced to Reach. So we became members, and we're still here today. Back at home, things started to fall into place. From the moment I saw his slightly grumpy and thoughtful face, I realised that I had a son, and one that would change our lives forever and a day. It also became apparent that many other things would be more challenging to us as parents, if not to Humphrey. Humphrey had quite a big head. Mum's newly knit his hat, popped off his head like an acorn, and getting t-shirts over his head was a challenge. He also crawled at quite an electric pace, and trust me, as I took a lot of childcare duties, my thoughts of nodding off in front of the daytime television went out the window. So we attended Reach, and we shared our experiences, and was heartened to discover that we weren't on our own. With our bouncing baby boy. My wife Sam wrote this lovely piece in an early edition of the magazine, which you can all access online. Google Humphrey Keeper, and after about the 3rd page you get the Reach magazine, which speaks more deeply about her early emotions and also mentions his ability in the swimming pool as an aquatot. He was baptised and welcomed into the church and the wider community. It was immensely beneficial as people got to know Humphrey very quickly and he to know them. Humphrey grew and threw himself into everything a child does, particularly the love of natural history. Here he's sporting a shield bug on his arm. I woke up the other morning staring a live cricket in the face, which Humphrey proudly told me was a common green cricket indigenous to the south of England. He made a cracking lead in nativity. Here he's seen as Joseph. And every time he's thrown into something new, I still worry. Can he pick this up? What if he needs to hold his lines, carry that, etc.? Even though he always finds a way to do things. He was born to a sister, Dorothea. And I remember being concerned that out of the surprise of Humphrey's birth, that something would make this more complicated than expected. Nurses and doctors were amazed at me. I just kept saying, "Is she alright? Is she okay?" etc. Dorothea, Dolly as we called her, was as bright and bubbly a baby as her brother, and they got on just fine. And they'd travel with us to far-flung places, enjoy time together. And Humphrey's obvious difference on the beach rarely elicited any attention. If anything, we were never sure whether waiters and waitresses fell in love with him, and his sister's obvious good nature more so. Whatever Humphrey's fascination, Dolly would follow suit with him. His family unit expanded, here seen with his cousins, and there were some moments and thoughts that Humphrey would share more readily with Mum, as he did ask whether Monty, who he's holding there, may be born like himself. Humphrey, however, has a natural affinity for other children, and some younger children in particular adore him. He has a polite and welcoming manner to all of them. He made plenty of friends at our local school. Here is she with Felix, who was being baptised with him in the image earlier seen with Humphrey. More importantly to Humphrey, he also found another Spurs supporter. Again, with new events, I did worry unnecessarily about whether or not Humphrey could do that. He was a natural with a hockey stick, and last week he proudly announced that he'd made the school table tennis squad. It would have never occurred to me that he'd get the loudest cheer on the playing field the day that he volunteered to take part in the school skipping race. And seen here at his communion with his Albanian and Italian friend, I feel Humphrey has really benefited from growing up in a diverse neighbourhood. And quite by coincidence, another parent adopted Jake, who's shown here, who joined his school, and yes, there were not one but two Reach kids at the same school, and new friendships developed for Humphrey and his family. You can see him here on a trip to France. Humphrey, moments of reflection, yes. Usual parental worries, yes, but an all-round happy chap. Humphrey's first brush with fame came through a small article in the Times Educational Supplement. I had to root this one out to find this. And his vocal skills did get him a slot on Christmas daybreak with his school friends. And his sister Dorothea got on there too, and up at 4 in the morning to get them to the event. Probably the first and last time I will sit through breakfast television, but a joy for the family to see. Humphrey threw himself into team sports. Yes, he threw himself into sport. He managed through a sliding tackle on a team play against what looked like the under-12 Barcelona squad to break his right arm. Trust me, when Humphrey struggled off the pitch with his hand arm hanging limply, the clock stopped on Blackheath for a moment or two. We never really used his one hand or his point of difference to gain any advantage, but a packed accident emergency on a cold Saturday morning in Lewisham, we did all we could. Rushed through X-ray, cast was fitted. But it did mean his hand was out of action for a good week. For the first time, we now have another dilemma that Humphrey, he may share this with other Reach members, no hands. And here, as a DIY dad, you get resourceful. The Dad Mark 1 sadly didn't work. Autobot, you've got no competition. But for the first time in our relationship with our local limb centre, and we go to the one at Crystal Palace, they really pulled out, I must say, they pulled out all the improvisational stops, because this happened on Saturday, and this happened Monday afternoon. It was the Mark II. So it was a simple construction with a sleeve and leather, and so inserted into that were forks and knives, which enabled Humphrey to feed himself, basically. And was Sia, normally reticent limb centre, mindful of budgets and things, bending the cutlery in their canteen quite nervously, and then handing it to us under the table saying, it's yours, it's yours. It was a great revolution. And I would say here a big thanks to Frank Letch, because I went to one of maybe the second Reach weekend that we went to, which would have been 9 years ago. And I remember his talk, he did a talk similar to this up here about his achievements, and he did help me alleviate that worry immediately, because for a man who's achieved so much in his life, not having two arms would appear to be no problem. So I was very, very much put at ease by the things that happened in these weekends. Our children are in a competitive world. Humphrey being a bit of a boffin, we wanted him to attend a top school, and especially one that would treat him no different to the other boys. So 2 years of tutoring and studying at school began. Humphrey applied for scholarships because he made quickly grade 3 on his adapted recorder. 2 days before one exam, unfortunately, his recorder broke, and you can't get an adapted recorder in your local recorder shop. So a big thanks to Sue and Reach. She arranged a replacement special delivery the day before he took his exam. And he did it. Humphrey got into a grammar school, but more on that later. There was another event being planned in Humphrey's hometown. It was a good year before the Olympic opening ceremony, or the OOC as we coded it, when Humphrey and his sister and friends from his primary school joined the Dockhead Choir. And so was to begin on and off 12 months of secret rehearsals and managing our own expectations, as we knew Humphrey was one of 4 shortlisted singers to do a solo piece. And it was an early February rehearsal when I guessed what the song they would sing was. Humphrey sang at church regularly and done other things, but he wasn't actually trained, so the choir master Mags always took some time with Humphrey to give him lessons. And one of the first things she asked Humphrey to sing was Happy Birthday to his sister in February, because it hits the same notes as the first two bars of Jerusalem. I also remember being at home with the whole family, and we wasn't allowed to tell anybody, and this wasn't our parents or close friends. We signed a 7-page contract that one of the fathers of the choir masters was a judge, and he fell off his chair when he read it. So we were very, very cautious. We didn't want Humphrey to miss his opportunity, and we also wanted to be part of the event and keep the secret Santa. But we was watching football on the telly, and I was watching my beloved Liverpool. Don't ask me why I support Liverpool, as a Cockney lad, but I do. The match went to penalties, so we had to sneak out of the house at 5:30. I can't even remember the lie we told our family, but we got there, and unfortunately the choir leader, Mags, let us watch the football around her house before he rehearsed again. And she'd never seen the penalties before, which was great for her as well. And so for the first time I saw him, Humphrey, and the choir, his sister was in the choir as well, they say, perform at a dress rehearsal in the Olympic Arena. And if my heart had been in my mouth for 12 months already, which it was pretty regularly, going to work, coming home from like, oh God, is he going to do it? Fall over, the same feelings. Imagine my feeling when I realised that his contribution would be right at the beginning. So it came to the big night. Mum, a registered school teacher, who chaperoned the choir through many late night rehearsals before, and was there in the evening. Well, I sat at the home with the other parents of the choir, watching on the television with the rest of the world. Humphrey was nervously rehearsing with his friends under the stadium, waiting to come on. He took the whole thing very seriously. And yes, he, his sister and his friends in the choir did a great job. We all had a magical night to remember. It was good to be involved in such a wonderful event. We got a lot of press interest. Every tabloid contacted us on the Sunday night, every one, apart from the posh ones. The first journalist got a shock as I had my Notting Hill moment. If anyone's seen the film Notting Hill, when I answered the door in my underpants. Well, we managed it all as best we could. Bear in mind that huge contract. We was nervous not to overstretch our mark or what have you, but I must admit that Gary from Reach helped us with some emails. Sue, obviously, at the time, she helped us manage the inflow of things and how to manage his interest. But we did manage a very good article in the Times. We did a TV interview on London News, a radio interview with my wife on that one as well. And also we did have a spot on the John Snow Paralympic show, which we had a good month's notice for, but obviously Russell Brand's PR agent had more clout than Humphrey, because at the very last minute, the last day, we was told that Russell Brand would have Humphrey's slot. So yeah, we don't like Russell Brand. Anyway, and the kids also helped Dad out, because he did a feature for my company magazine, and I became the dad of the children that sang. I work for a large company that's based in both Yorkshire and the studio I run in London, so it was great. It was great to sort of share that with the people I work with and put up with me every day. Humphrey started his new school in September, and we knew it was the right place. In the first month, he was fortunate enough to go on an outward bound course to the Brecon Beacons, where he was awarded Bravest Boy of the Form Award, which Humphrey said, probably because of my arm, and I did everything, including hanging off a mountain. But his poor new friends, they were completely unaware that Humphrey is an outward bound type who throws himself into everything. No morning is too early or wet to witness a bird migration in the wash. I think it's about 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, let's get this one. And there's no mountain high enough. Seen here at Arthur's after last year's Reach weekend. He'd often leave his elders in the wake and hear mums valiantly trying to catch up with him. And I must say I'm even further away down here. And so now to the future Reach weekends. We always try to come as friendships are renewed for both Dolly, Humphrey and ourselves. Humphrey is seen here going to perform Jerusalem with the choir again for a special Paralympic Mass that was held in Southwark Cathedral. He's also promised that he's remembered the words and he'll sing for us all tonight at some point at the dinner dance. I'd imagine sort of about 9:30 whenever all the children come back in. And yes, as with any new thing he does, I'll be worrying that he's going to do a good job. But around the dining room table, I said, Humphrey, you're going to do the reach tonight. You're going to do the reach. And he goes, yes, yes, yes. But would everybody help out by singing the second verse? So I've printed out 150. There'll be one on your table. So when he's done the first verse and it comes in, bring me my bow. If as many of you could have the heart to join in, that will make us stone. So Humphrey, I think, well I know, he's going to continue to astound, confound and frustrate us all, as children and people do. He's a continual reminder to me that we're all different, and even though we try and find common ground, which we do probably every minute when we go to a new event like this, it's the fact that we are different that makes us very special. So thank you, Humphrey, and thank you for listening tonight. Anyone got any questions? If not now, then Sam, who's sitting there, black and white top, and myself are here all tonight and most of tomorrow morning, so please just come up to us and have a chat if you want to about Humphrey and his journey through life so far. Thank you.
I do love speeches like that from members of our Reach family, and it goes straight to the heart. So thank you very, very much for talking to us all. We'll look forward to seeing Humphrey later on tonight. Now, the purpose of the weekend is that you get lots of chance to talk to each other and mingle. Lunch will be on the buffet, which is just in the main hall outside, and all of the seats in that area are available for you to mingle. We've got pretty much exclusive possession of this area of the hotel today, so please take the opportunity to eat and talk to everybody, and we'll look forward to seeing you all again at 2 o'clock when our 2 speakers in the afternoon will be introduced, and please all come back and enjoy the afternoon. Thank you.